This is for the meet April 7th through the 10th. 10-year-old Abby came home discouraged and proclaimed to her family, "I hate math! Mr. B has ruined math for me. I am sick of it." When pressed about her day, Abby explained, "My math teacher asked me why I wasn't raising my hand to answer a question. So I admitted I didn't know. He then took me out in the hallway and started yelling and screaming at me because I didn't know the answer to a question. He said, 'You're one of the top students of the class.' I had to walk back into the class red-faced." Author Leah Hager Cohen goes on to suggest that Abby learned in this instant to conceal any confusion she had in the classroom. Abby also learned that saying the words, "I don't know," carry the consequences of being actively shamed. Abby didn't always feel this way about not knowing. In fact, most of us didn't. Cohen, in her book, I Don't Know, In Praise of Admitting Ignorance, studies the basic human trajectory, beginning at a time when school and saying, "I don't understand," and ignorance are thought to be good qualities, until school starts looking at "I don't know" in a different way. This can in turn create fear and shame and uncertainty. It can lead to effects such as cheating, faking it, and sometimes even superstition. The good news is there are solutions out there to help us embrace those three dreaded words, "I don't know." Ashley Montague, in his book Growing Young, says this need to know is a first-order evolutionary drive, vital for survival and development. Any parent who has spent time outside with a preschooler will confirm this. "Mama, why? What is it? What's it for?" Montague, however, suggests the way we structure our school system causes this natural curiosity to be crushed. We are taught there's only one right answer, and to form our answers in a way that will please our teachers. Quick learners and hand raisers are rewarded immediately in school. So much of school, according to Cohen, surrounds displayed knowledge. If a student displays well, they are rewarded with good grades, opportunities, and told they are smart. If a student displays poorly, they often lose opportunities and retreat. Montague calls this process of backing away from what we don't know psychosclerosis, or the hardening of the mind, because we are afraid to reveal any ignorance. So what kind of effects does this failure to know have on learning? One is cheating. By rewarding those who display well rather than those who work hard and work for understanding, we are creating a very toxic environment. Kids feel they must always have the right answer and often resort to cheating in order to keep up appearances. According to Andrew Simons from the George Lucas Educational Foundation, a survey of 70,000 high school students found that over 95% of kids have cheated in some way. Simons says students cheat for three main reasons. One, they're simply too lazy to do the work. Two, they get anxious about performing in class, so they cheat to save face. Or three, they feel it will give them an edge to be better than their fellow peers. Students also say that cutthroat environments often promote cheating even more. Take the Harvard cheating scandal, for example. In December 2012, it was found that approximately 125 undergraduate students cheated on a take-home final. The fact that students at Harvard would cheat shocked the general public. But what most of the public doesn't realize is that students at Harvard feel the same pressure to be perfect, just as much as anyone else, maybe even more, because they are carrying the weight of lofty expectations. Students have realized that by revealing any weakness, they could be judged as something less than what they are. Failure to know causes some to fake it. When faced with unknown circumstances, some people exude an air of confidence when they actually have no idea what they are talking about. Take the incident that happened to President Trump surrounding the Black History Month event. When Black abolitionist Frederick Douglass was mentioned, he referred to him as somebody who's doing an amazing job and is being recognized more and more, despite Douglass having died in 1895. Trump simply couldn't recall who Douglass was, and instead of asking someone to refresh his memory, he feigned confidence and ended up seeming uneducated instead. However, Trump knows all too well that we perceive a lack of absolute confidence as a weakness in our leaders. Will Curzon, a data scientist, says, despite living in a complex world, we are often afraid to admit when we don't know. So we therefore don't expect to see this uncertainty expressed by others. By expecting those in leadership positions to be experts in everything, we are holding them to standards where they often feel a need to overcompensate for a lack of knowledge in a certain field. Studies have shown it is much easier to simply make something up and believe in it fiercely than it is to struggle and actually learn a new concept. When primitive, superstitious cultures faced things they didn't know or couldn't explain, they simply made up various solutions. For example, the Maimurians of Brazil said the reason it got so dark at night was because birds filled up the sky and their wings blocked out the sun. Whatever these people didn't know, they simply made up. Today we are no less scared of the unknown. We just turn to science, religion, or in some cases, superstition instead. At heart, I do believe people want to know and understand, but sometimes our egos just get in the way. Mike Robbins from Huffington Post says this obsession to know has much more to do with our egos and a fear of being embarrassed or judged than it does a sincere desire for knowledge and understanding. We want to control the uncontrollable, life. So, pushing our egos aside, what can we do? Well, we can, one, admit when we don't know. Robbins says, stop pretending to know stuff when you don't. It's annoying, anxiety-producing, and stressful. We aren't supposed to know everything, and nobody does. The easier it is for us to admit when we don't know, the more likely we are to ask about it, learn about it, make our peace with it, or let it go. Number 2, know your limitations and when to ask for help. In January of 1982, a 737 Boeing sat in the runway of the Washington National Airport. Heavy snow and ice were both present, and the black box later revealed the co-pilot tried to engage the pilot in a conversation about the need to de-ice more before takeoff. However, the pilot pulled rank and dismissed his concerns. The plane, its wings being crusted in ice and snow, remained airborne for only 37 seconds. It crashed into the 14th Street Bridge and sheared off the tops of cars before plunging into the Potomac. 79 onboard passengers were killed, including 4 motorists. Pilot error was ruled the cause. We aren't always the expert and often benefit from the expertise of others around us, if only we would ask. Number 3, be a role model. Teach others to say, I don't know, and recognize the importance of those 3 words. Saying, I don't know, does not mean you're lazy. Teacher Angela Watson says it is the parent or teacher's job to demonstrate that knowing is a process, not a memory game. She suggests using the phrase, if you did know, what would you say, to get students talking. While this sounds like a trick question, many times kids will often offer you some aspect of the right answer. They knew it all along, they were just afraid to say it, and were second guessing themselves. Variations on this statement include, what would be your best guess? What are some other possibilities? These strategies promote thinking, not shame, not failure, and not faking it. Daniel Gilbert, a Harvard psychology professor, says we are taught at a young age that uncertainty is always bad, and certitude is always good. However, a growing body of scientific research suggests otherwise. Uncertainty need not hobble us, and in the right form and in the right amount can be a great pleasure. Might I suggest you think of life as a great detective game. It is the way we go about the search to know that makes all the difference. Being unafraid of saying, I don't know, can lead to great discovery and great freedom. Thank you.